want to read these real quick to you. Listen, just remain standing for a second right now. This is from our church, folks. They said, to Brother and Sister Swaggart, happy anniversary. Your love is so inspiring. You are the perfect example of what real love is.
Happy anniversary to us. Happy anniversary to us.
My grandfather was more than a man to me. He was my hero, a pillar of strength, a wellspring of wisdom, and a reflection of Christ's love. He lived his life with unwavering faith, with an open Bible and an open heart. No, he didn't just talk about Jesus. He walked with him daily. And because of that, countless lives were changed. I stand before you tonight, yes, with a heart that is broken. As I mentioned to you this morning, I felt like I lost my best friend. But also I stand before you here full of love, full of gratitude, full of memories, and most of all, full of reverence for the life and the legacy of my grandfather, Evangelist Jimmy Swaggart. To many around the world, he was a preacher, an evangelist, a pioneer of Christian media. But to me, he was Papa. He was a man who prayed with me, wept with me, challenged me, believed in me, and never let me forget who I was or whose I was. The loss we feel today, it is deep. It's personal. It's historic. But we do not mourn as those who have no hope, because we know where he is. And we know who welcomed him. On July the 1st, the moment that the Lord gave the command, I believe an angelic host came down to Baton Rouge, not just to witness, but to escort his soul into the portals of glory. And when he entered into those pearly gates, it wasn't a quiet reception. No, I believe tens of millions of people were waiting on him. I believe tens of millions of people were waiting on him. I want to say it one more time, and I want to say it just like he would say it. I want the media to hear this, and I want every backslidden preacher to hear this. I believe millions of people were waiting on him. Souls he prayed for, people he preached to, and individuals who met Christ because of his obedience. I believe they lined the heaven streets to welcome him home. And as I reflect on the man that he was, I'm overwhelmed by the lessons that he taught me. Some with words, but mostly with his life. And these 5 truths have shaped me more than he probably ever knew. And I want to give you these 5 things quickly. Number 1, my brother just mentioned it, and I know you heard it all through these videos. The first thing, the first lesson that he taught me was it's all about souls. This was more than just a motto for my grandfather. It was his mission. His life was consumed with one singular passion: to see the lost come to Christ. He preached in coliseums and churches, arenas, and over airwaves. not for applause or recognition, but for souls. He wept over souls. He prayed for souls. He gave everything, his time, his energy, even his health, for souls. Now, as a child, I did not quite understand the weight that he carried. But as I grew, I saw what it meant to live for eternity. He taught me that every sermon must point to the cross. Every effort must lead to Christ. And every moment is an opportunity to reach someone who is hurting, broken, and lost. That lesson, it's all about souls, will never leave me because it never left him. And now heaven is full of his labor. Number two, he would always tell me, walk softly before the Lord. Whether it was back here getting our war paint on, I don't call it makeup. Men don't wear makeup. Or whether it was on the phone when he would call me to discuss certain things, he would say, man, you have a knack for such and such. You need to walk softly before the Lord. In a world that is obsessed with image and influence, my grandfather lived differently. He walked humbly, reverently, and gently before the Lord. His life would say, the higher that God lifts you, the lower you must bow. That was how he lived. Whether it was here in a prayer meeting or in front of millions of viewers, he always remembered who was in charge. And he never let success overshadow surrender. This lesson, walking softly before the Lord, reminds me that holiness matters, that the anointing is sacred, that pride is dangerous, but intimacy with God is everything. He modeled a fear of the Lord that wasn't built on rules, but on relationship. And that's something that I will carry with me all the days of my life. Number three, I love this one. What you start, you finish. I saw this lesson lived out day after day, decade after decade, through trial and triumph, through criticism and comeback, through seasons of abundance and seasons of pain. My grandfather was not a quitter. I want to say that again. Devil, I want you to hear me. My grandfather was not a quitter. He was a finisher. He didn't abandon the calling when things got difficult, but he dug in deeper. When others walked away, he stayed the course. When the weight of ministry crushed many, he pressed on, fueled by the grace of God and the fire in his soul. What you start, you finish was his quiet promise to the Lord. Thank God he kept it. He finished the work of God that God gave him. He finished his race. And he finished it with the same passion he had when he first began. And when I'm tired, and when I face resistance, and when I feel like giving up, I remember these words. And I remember and I hear those words in my spirit. Don't stop now. Finish strong. Number four, rely on the Lord daily. There was a steadiness about my grandfather, a calm in his voice, a clarity in his conviction that did not come from himself, but it came from daily dependence on the Lord. He didn't just pray on Sundays. If you knew him, he didn't pray on Sundays alone. And he didn't just read the Bible when he needed a sermon. He relied on God every single day. Morning after morning, I watched him sit with the Word in his hands, talk to the Lord, and draw strength, not from what he knew, but from who he knew. He used to tell me, man, you cannot live on yesterday's blessing, and you cannot live on yesterday's anointing. He knew that spiritual renewal was a daily choice, that without God's presence, nothing else mattered. His life taught me that no matter how big the stage, how heavy the burden, or how high the mountain, you rely on the Lord daily, or you won't make it. And number 5, God is a big God. God is a big God. So ask big. I want to say it again. God